essentially do two things. Meaning, this is what we thought was of interest for you. You could do many other things, but our objective was mainly to allow you to take a look at a job vacancy or a CV you sent, and you knew the fields that you had filled in, and you wanted to look at it in the portal, in conformance environment, and see if everything you have sent is displayed, and if it is displayed properly. So we are one step past the checks and the tools that Christophe has just walked you through that show you technicalities. Now you see it on screen, you know how you sent it, and you check on screen if all the fields are displayed as you send them. Also, we thought that it allows you to check if you can retrieve a specific CV or a specific job vacancy. Why? Because in time, we will have people saying, my CV did not contain this, or I had added such and such field, and it was not there when I looked on the portal, or the same for a job vacancy. So we will be in a situation, especially with the service desk or with us directly when you put a ticket, to identify the specific GV or the specific CV where somebody thinks there is a problem, and to check where the problem comes from. Okay? So those were the two main objectives why we shared these documents and we created this possibility of end-to-end testing. Obviously, you could test many other things, but we thought that those two were 2 points where you probably wanted to focus. I'll very briefly remind you how those two things could have been done and still can be done. How to find a replicated job vacancy in the database. You have two options. One is if you know the reference ID, the document ID of the vacancy. I'm referring to vacancies, and my colleague Zoltan will resume afterwards and will tell you if there are any differences or any specific things for CVs. But so far it's pretty much the same. Zoltan, I'm looking at you for confirmation. So please read for the time being job vacancy or CV. And Zoltan will come afterwards and talk about the specificities of CVs. So if you know the reference ID of the document you want to search, then you just type it in the search area, and the expected outcome is obviously that you retrieve that specific GB. It's displayed on screen. Another option is to go by URL. You can simply add to the URL the indicated text, and then what is displayed are 3 hidden fields. I will walk you through them in detail a little bit further on. The steps to follow are very simple. You add it to the URL, you press enter, you press refresh, or you enter in a new tab the whole URL, including the identity. I repeat, if you use this second option, you will retrieve on screen 3 hidden fields that you do not retrieve by the first option. And we'll take a look when I have a screenshot and explain exactly why. Because those 3 fields are the NCO name, reference, and source, and they are only displayed for sort of admin roles. They are of no relevance for the job seeker or for an employer who wants to take a look at a CV. Those are for purely administrative purposes, for the service desk, for yourselves, for ourselves, to be able to trace back. They are traceability tools, if you want, traceability devices of absolutely zero relevance for a job seeker. So we didn't want to overweigh the display of a GV on screen with such information